When it's time to scale your business, it's time for Shopify. Get everything you need to grow the way you want. Like, all the way. Stack more sales with the best converting checkout on the planet. Track your cha-chings from every channel, right in one spot. And turn real-time reporting into big-time opportunities. Take your business to a whole new level. Switch to Shopify. Start your free trial today.
New Year, same extra value meals at McDonald's. So now get 2 snack wraps, plus fries, and a medium soft drink for just $8.
For limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Hawaii, Alaska, and California, and for delivery.
Kraft Mac and Cheese is better than 90s hip-hop. We'll remind you of your childhood without making you feel incredibly old. Kraft Mac and Cheese. Best thing ever.
Welcome to No Question About That. This is a focus on Manchester United women. I'm Ed, and Andy Slater is here from the Barmy Article fanzine. How's it going, Andy?
It's going well. Fanzine's still going strong. Good to get women's football back. And obviously we start later than the men's season, but we've had a couple of games now out in Stockholm and then the start of the league season yesterday. It's a long summer in the women's game.
I mean, it's an interesting dynamic, isn't it? Much fewer games than on the men's side of things, but some really serious injuries as they start ticking up the number of games. And so, just be sensible and don't give everyone an ACL, because the prevalence of ACLs in the women's game is really high as well. So, but yeah, we're here to talk about Manchester United, where we are. So we'll talk a little bit about the signings over the summer, some departures, how we feel about that, and the early season results, both the European qualification and, as you said, just had a WSL game. Women's sport generally, though, women's football generally, we're going through a moment because I think the world record transfer fee has been broken 4 times in the last year and 3 times this summer. There is more money in the game. There's new investors. United are playing London City Lionesses soon. Michelle Kang, big investor from the States, pumping money in. They were one of the 4 anyway. So how are you feeling about the women's game generally with all this money pumping in and a lot of focus on it?
I think it feels like a kind of Premier League moment where when the Premier League started, those that happened to be around the top benefited by getting the most financial input. The TV money benefited those most, and for us, for United men at least, it lasted quite a while. Yep. And I think it's great for the game because that's what it's screaming out for. The numbers are minuscule compared to men's football, so a £5 million budget could run a women's football team for the year. Yeah, which in men's football terms, that's a small agent's fee even. Yeah. So it's frustrating that the money isn't being put into the levels that it should be. When a couple of teams do it, there's going to be a lot of pain for those that can't. Now, London City Lionesses aren't backed by a men's club, but they are getting the money pumped in. They got battered 4-1 by Arsenal. I expect they will come good at some point in the season, some of the talent they've got. But it feels like a club of United size should be getting on board at this point, because I think we went into the summer with a budget, and then the £1 million barrier was broken with Olivia Smith. London City Lionesses were splashing cash around, and I think all the numbers that United went in with suddenly became a lot higher as the market shifted, and we didn't react to it. So I think those that won't or can't invest are at risk of getting left behind, and I think it's going to increase the disparity for a while, but the top end needs to rise for the lower end to start catching up. Otherwise, there's going to be a lot of men's teams that have a women's team that is just a token gesture because they can get away with it, and it's going to put pressure on those that can to invest. But I do worry about those that can't.
Yeah, I think it's a fair point, isn't it? The women's game has this kind of soft salary cap. It's there's plenty of ways around it, right? So you can cut a part of the sponsorship out. Most clubs do that, where they have a men's. I mean, I think it's was it 12 in the WSL? It's expanding at some point, isn't it, to 14? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, 11 of the 12 effectively backed by the men's club or part of the same club. I mean, we know that Villa and Chelsea sold their clubs to other parent company groups, all that kind of nonsense for ridiculous PSR reasons. But United could invest more, right? It's within the remit to do that. They could just say, hey, part of that Qualcomm sponsorship is for the women's team. They're all wearing Qualcomm on the front of their shirts too. It's this much, and it would be very, very easy and make no difference. So it's a choice to set the budget where it is. It's. I mean, do the calculations. Chelsea don't really split it out, but I think it's about £20 million a year, their budget. Arsenal maybe slightly less. City about Arsenal's, and then United's a bit further behind that. I think. I tried to dig into this to look at all the finances. It's a little more opaque than on the men's side.
Yep.
But yeah, it's within the gift. Anyway, let's talk about who came in, because there's some interesting signings here. Julia Zigotti-Olme came in. She started in the side in midfield. Fridolina Rolfo, lots of people know her from Sweden and Barcelona and all of that kind of stuff. And then we had Jess Park come in as part of that. Well, it's not officially a swap, but basically a swap with Grace Clinton going the other way. Initial impressions on the players that have come in? How are you feeling about them?
I think all three are immediate improvements to our first 11. Zigotti-Olme, that feels like the planned one. Once Sweden went out of the Euros, she was announced shortly after. She's in for pre-season. She's played the 2 Champions League qualifiers and the league game so far, and she improves our midfield immensely. She replaces Dominique Janssen in that kind of 6th position, and Dom Janssen has now moved back into defence, replacing Millie Turner, so that also, I believe, improves our defence too. I think she played in defence a couple of times last season, but looked a little bit out of place. But now that it's her position next to Maya Letitia, she looks the part.
And she's played a lot there over her career as well. I mean, it's not new. Yeah.
It was just kind of them odd games last season mixed in with playing in midfield. It felt a little bit wrong, but she certainly looks the part now. And Zigotti-Olme, I think she's the kind of player that I think peak Hayley Ladd was the closest we've got to that, and I think she's probably better than Hayley Ladd was at that role. You can be attacking, you'll lose the ball, and she's straight on it. She's defending on their 18-yard line. It's not a case of just protecting the back four. It's protecting the ball, protecting possession. She's just putting tackles in everywhere and not giving space for transitions for the other team. So I think that's she won't get the plaudits because she's not going to score screamers. She's not going to put crosses in, but I think she, coupled with Hinata Miyazawa, will basically run our midfield and give Ella Toon, who probably now owns that number 10 spot, to do what Ella Toon does. And it's a good base for that midfield and for her to venture forward and drift across the front line.
Yeah, Miyazawa obviously had a long time out with injury, back in the side and looks good.
She didn't play much in her first season. I think it was more niggles than anything serious. She kind of cemented her place in the side last season, and she runs the show. She's everywhere. She was dropped against Liverpool at Anfield, and I have no idea why. I think it was probably to fit Clinton and Toon into the same team, and we lost 3-1 in a game that we really should have been winning.
Really needed to win,
It was it was the point in the season where the most optimistic would say that mathematically we could still catch Chelsea. After that, we couldn't. Now, we wouldn't have done anyway, but it was a game that we should have been winning, and it's difficult to say that one player in or out makes a difference, but it really felt like Miyazawa did at that point. And I think her having Zigotti-Olme as a partner now, it's just it lets her do her job. Absolutely, it's a good mix. It's a good balance, and it's the one planned transfer I think we've made. The other two, while they're great, I think we're opportunistic, but we can assess the signings themselves, and then we can assess the transfer plan overall as a separate matter, as we often can in football, certainly on the men's side as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's true. It feels like, there's been an awful lot of kind of administrative structure building over on the men's side. I mean, it feels a bit unfair to say that because Barada is the CEO of all football at United, so men's, women's, academy, whatever. But Jason Wilcox is very specifically focused on the men's game. I don't think he's particularly involved. Ashworth did seem to have a real interest in the women's team and building that up. Obviously, there's been a lot of change there. On the women's side of things, feels very lightweight in terms of structure, but they are getting deals done. It's just like, does it have the focus it should do? Is that right? Are United putting the right kind of budget in and resources in to pull off these deals? The third deal that we didn't talk about yet was, well, you mentioned Jess Parker's come in. Grace Clinton's gone the other way. How did that come about? Were you surprised that Clinton, young player, talented player, who's imperfect but growing into the game, you surprised that United let her go?
I think with experience over the recent years of Rousseau going for free, Earps going for free, I think that was this. We extended the contract by 1 year with that option. When that happened, it became clear that Grace wasn't going to sign of her own accord.
Right.
So it felt like the 1 year option was in order to do a deal this summer rather than lose her for free. So I did expect us to be a bit wiser this time and try and find somewhere for her to get some money in. I didn't expect us to be getting Jess Park in as part of the bargain. So I thought, even just a week or two ago, I thought we would probably lose her to City and that would be it.
Right.
Now, knowing that she's probably going to go is one thing. Going directly to City is a completely different matter. You know, they're the team that have dropped out of the top three for us to take a Champions League spot. Our City rivals, we don't want to strengthen them while weakening ourselves. And that's what felt kind of inevitable. So when Jess Park's name come up, it was kind of are we doing something sensible? Are we playing hardball and making sure we get something out of this deal? And without commenting on who's the better player out of the two, I think we've come off better as far as squad fit.
Yeah.
And obviously the attitude to playing for a club that you're trying to leave. I don't know what Grace Clinton's attitude is like in general, but certainly it was clear that she wanted to leave United, and that's never a good thing to stick with for the last season and have that hanging over you. So it would have been great to build up Grace Clinton, and we signed her. We sent her out on loan to Bristol, where she had a great time. Then she went on to Spurs in the WSL on loan, and she impressed there. So it felt like we've invested time in her as well as buying her as a young player. We've given her 2 good loans that she's benefited from. She's played well for us in the season we've had her. And it feels like you would want another contract to prove herself at United before deciding whether she can get that big contract with us or look for somewhere else. But it feels like she wanted that kind of big made it contract right now. And I think the club have, if it was just about the numbers, I think the club have probably been right on this one. I don't want to defend the club altogether because we've certainly made some shocking decisions, but this one feels like we've played it sensible and sustainable. And then in losing her or letting her go, we've actually improved the squad with the effective swap about.
Yeah, it is an interesting one because generally you don't want to lose talented young players, do you? And especially to City rivals. That it's not a particularly good look, but getting Park in return has softened the blow. I mean, you mentioned Rousseau and Earps and Lauren James and who else has gone? There's a bunch of big names have gone.
I think that those are the 2 main ones that we've let slip. I think Lauren James we got a fee for when it was clear
we
she
got
didn't
a fee
want to
out
stay.
of her, yeah.
On Abache, it was always clear she was going back to Barcelona. Yeah. But Earps and Rousseau were the ones where it was like, why don't you want to stay? What's wrong? Yeah. And then it was a contract rundown and the 6-month saga from January to summer, which hangs over the club. I think others have been handled slightly better, but those are the 2 that kind of we didn't get screwed. We screwed ourselves, I think, by letting that happen.
It's
It's the final chapter of the college football playoff.
It comes down to this.
Miami's unmatched grit and tenacity through the postseason has led them home. The national title now within reach.
They are confident. They are battle-tested.
Undefeated Indiana, led by Chris Signetti and Heisman winner Fernando Mendoza, have the chance to take home their first title and claim college football immortality.
The most remarkable turnaround in the history of college football.
The College Football Playoff National Championship presented by AT&T. Monday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just
speaking into the void?
But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
It's football season, and you can now get almost anything you need for game day delivered with Uber Eats. What do we mean by almost? Well, you can't get a running back delivered, but you can get baby back ribs delivered. A strong defense? No. A strong deodorant? Yes. A six-pack of abs? Nope. Six-pack of beer? Yes. Get almost anything for game day delivered with Uber Eats, official on-demand food delivery partner of the NFL. Order now. Alcohol 21 plus and in select cities. Product availability varies by region. See app for details.
Fair enough. I mean, Marriott's got a really big contract. Her career hasn't really gone anywhere, and Fallon Tullis-Joyce has proven to be an excellent keeper, so it's not like United downgraded there. And in Russo, well, it took a season, didn't it? But Elizabeth Turlin's in and scoring goals already, and I think it looks like she's going to have a really good season this season.
Does. Yeah, very good.
Yeah. And she scores more goals than Russo anyway, so for sure that'll happen. But different skill sets. All right, it's looks like the squad's stronger this season with those signings, but will that be enough? Because Chelsea spent big, Arsenal spent big, City. They've made some improvements in their squad, but it's also United need to be looking over their shoulder because London City Lionesses, maybe not this season, but definitely in the future, given they're a multi-club group as well, will be one to look at. Spurs have spent money, Liverpool have spent money, although they did lose Olivia Smith. So there's a lot of challenges for those top places. It's not like everyone's standing still here.
Yeah. It's a top three that you want to be in for the Champions League spots. We've been in the top four, battling for three places. 2 seasons ago, we finished 5th in that 4-horse race for the top three, which that one was the absolute shocker. But we've bounced back last season, and some say it's City injuries that helped us to get that top three. But the fact is, we got it. Whatever injuries happened for whichever teams, we finished 3rd. We got good results to get there. I think we do have a better squad now than last season, but I don't think we've done enough. The 3 signings we made are all top-tier signings, I would say. They're all going to go straight into the first team, I would think. Jess Park I would think Jess Park will start on the right in place of Céline Bizet, possibly rotate with Toon in the number 10 role at times. But they're all going to be regular players. They're not going to be squad players. They're not going to be backup. So the signings we've made are great. It's the signings we haven't made that is concerning. We've got Jade Riviere at right back, and last season we had Aoife Mannion covering when Riviere was out. Now, Aoife Mannion was a great defender, but Jade Riviere is a proper United fullback. She's rapid and she gets down the wing and supports the attack. And when you replace her with a right back who is ultimately a defender, you lose the way you play. We do have Hannah Blundell that's come back from maternity leave, who can, she can play both sides at full back, and she's one that will get down the wing and support. But you don't know what you're getting back. You don't know what kind of play you're getting after a year out of football and going through a pregnancy. So that's a bit of an unknown. We have Anna Sandberg, who started the last few games at left back, and I think she's an improvement on Gabby George because she's an attacking full back. Again, Gabby George is a good defender, but Sandberg is a good full back who will get forward and support the attack. So she can also play on the right, while we have Leah Galton and new signing Fridolina Rolfo, who are ultimately left wingers, but have both played at left back as well. So we've got full backs who can attack, and we've got cover on both sides. But I would have liked more dedicated cover at right back for somebody who can play that kind of attacking football. The most concerning position, though, I think, is Elizabeth Turland. I don't think we've got anybody who can do anything near what she does. Melvin Mallard plays off the left sometimes and did yesterday, but she's often a striker as well. But she's a very different kind of striker than Turland, so it's good to have that option of different football, but not if it's forced. Rachel Williams can play the kind of target type football, but she's 37, I think, maybe 38. Yeah. She didn't score a goal last season, so she's performed heroics for us in the past. She's a great servant. She gets stuck in. She's no nonsense, and she can come on for 20 minutes and make a difference. But she's not a player you want to be counting on. So when her contract was extended this summer, a lot of people complained that we're the kind of club that extends 38-year-olds. For me, if that is part of a wider strategy, it's fine. If that's in lieu of signing a striker, then it's a mistake. Now, I don't think the plan was that is it. I think we just failed to get the targets we wanted. But it leaves us very thin in that position. I think we're well covered in midfield now, well covered on the wings, now that Jess Park's come. Before Jess Park, I was worried about the right side. But because Jess Park can play there, I think that improves us a lot. But it's the striker position that concerns me the most. If we lose Turland, we lose a huge part of the way we play.
Yes, well, we'll see over the course of the season whether that's a mistake or not. Stay fit. I mean, obviously, if United qualify for the Champions League, there's going to be a lot more games than there were last season. So let's get on to some of those early season games. Mini tournament over in Stockholm, in which United beat PSV and Hammarby, and now have a two-legged playoff against Brann. First leg over in Bergen, and then second leg back at Lee Sports Village. They're not going to play that at Old Trafford, are they?
No.
They should do. At Lee Sports Village.
It would be nice, but I think we'll lose something at Old Trafford. I think the crowd gets lost. And
it's true. There's been some... I mean, we've talked about this before, right? A couple of games at Old Trafford last season, only, one against Everton attracted like 10,000 people, and then I forget who the second one was. At West Ham?
We played... It was actually a decent one last season. We played City and clinched.
City, that's right, yeah.
Came back from 2-0 down to draw 2-2, and that clinched top three. So that one... We've been beat by City before at Old Trafford. We've been battered by Chelsea at Old Trafford.
True.
Last year was that one against City that felt like it deserved Old Trafford. The performance deserved Old Trafford. It's still not something I would say get all the big games there going forward, because I think Lee has a lot of history now with the women's team.
Yeah.
It does feel like home, and when we get on the North Stand terrace, it feels old school on the terrace. We stood up, and we do get a good atmosphere going. And I think the players are always going to say that the fans help, but I believe that it is the case at Lee Sports Village. So I don't think we're ready for Old Trafford yet. In a case of vital games that, especially midweek ones, that you might not get the numbers that we did against City last season. You were out in Stockholm. How was that mini tournament? Very mini, but. It's an interesting format, isn't it, for qualification? But a lot of teams involved in that tournament. It does feel strange, but when you think about getting 4 teams down to 1 over the course of 4 days, it does make sense. I'm not sure how else you get your team, 4 teams down to 1 in that space of time without other than that tournament. But yeah, so Hammarby hosted. Metalist obviously couldn't host in Ukraine. We couldn't host because the Leopards were playing at Lee and United were playing at Old Trafford. So it was either Eindhoven or Stockholm. We wanted Eindhoven because it would have been much cheaper, but Stockholm was a great destination. Especially that, if you go for one game, you're tempted to go in the day before and come back the day after, but you get kind of 4 nights there, and there's the 2 full days in between, so you get to enjoy a bit of the city. Lovely Stockholm. Yeah, really, really like. Did you go to see the ship, the Vasa? No, museum thing. We did a boat trip, and I spent a fair bit of time on Gamlestan, that small island with the quirky streets and quite a lot of bars. So we did go in a Viking bar on the Friday night, which I thought this is just going to be a rock pub that says it's a Viking bar in it, but no, it was a Viking bar. Nice. 3 musicians playing instruments you don't know the names of, and mugs of ale rather than pints of beer, and it was very, very Viking. It was a good time. It is a nice place. It is like €15 for a beer though. So it was expensive. But yeah, the football out there, the game against PSV was pretty routine, and then played Hammarby in the final. Obviously, effectively the home team, even though it was technically, I think we were drawn as the home team, but it's in the men's ground. It's the ultras, so to speak, were there. You had the regular Hammarby fans, but then in one end, the same as we did at PSG 2 years ago, it was the drum constantly, the singing constantly. It was a spectacle to witness, and I think it did affect the players early on, as did Hammarby's tactics. They got stuck in and they played quite rough. And I think we've been a naive team to that in the past, and that showed early on in the game. But with barely a substitute to bring on, with some injuries at the moment, players not quite in the swing of it, I think the players dug in and matched their tactics and kind of played that kind of smart game, grew into the challenges and gave as good as they got by the end. And kind of taking your time, putting your foot on the ball, blocking free kicks early, and that we grew into it and really matched them and frustrated them. We were frustrated at the beginning, but as we got the goal and went one up, they were the ones frustrated by the end when we were kind of playing them at their own game. And I think as well as playing the football and scoring the goal, I think that was a huge plus, because it's something that we have struggled with in the past, kind of playing the dark arts, so to speak. We've not really been masters of it, but that was a huge step, showing that we can use those tactics as well and not get drowned out.
Yeah, game management and all of that, uglier game, but it was effective in the end. 2-game playoff against Brann.
Yep.
I'm going to admit I know absolutely nothing about this team. I know where it is in the world, but how much do you know about Brann as a football team? Are they any good?
Martin Hall, when he left United, went to become head coach at Brann.
Right, that's right, yeah.
He's now left there and he's at Spurs, back in the WSL. But by most accounts, he improved them quite a lot. He got them organised and had them playing good football. It is a game we should be winning on paper. Norway produce a lot of good players, but they tend to leave Norway.
Yeah.
We've got a good few Norwegians in our team. That Tayland is one of the stars of the team. She's scored 5 goals so far in 3 games, including those 2 over in Stockholm. So it's a game that we should be looking to win. It would be 2 years ago against PSG, we knew we were the underdogs. This time we are one of the unseeded teams, and Brann are seeded, but it's probably the most favourable draw that we could have got out of the 5 teams we could have been drawn against. So I will be disappointed if we go out. We should be going over there and getting a result and then bring them back to Lee Sports Village, hopefully pretty comfortably. But
I think there's just the one WSL game in between.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's London City Lionesses away in between on the Sunday. So a home match might have been nice in between, save the travelling, but with the squad depth is the worry with this one. The players haven't been able to kind of do like the 20-minute rests or make as many subs as we might have liked to. But we've got the players that should be able to go out there and get a result, bring it back to Lee, and hopefully not sacrifice London City Lionesses in the middle. We hopefully still get a result there in between. Yeah.
And then a very good win at the weekend, opening WSL game, 4-0 win over Leicester.
Yeah.
There's some impressive performances in that. Goal from Ellertoon, a couple from Turland already.
Yep, it was a very good performance. Toon got the first. She was quite lucky that it went in. I think the keeper should have saved it, but it was well worked. And when they go in, and then sometimes you need a bit of luck with a goal early on to give you that boost. And I think she showed that why she is the starting number 10, and that Grace Clinton isn't as big a loss as some people might think. Ziggy Otiolm was impressive. She gave us that base. She showed us what she's been doing in pre-season and in Stockholm. I think what impressed me about us yesterday was Melvin Mallard played on the left and was comfortable coming into the middle, which worked well with Toon drifting drifting out to the left and operating in them areas. I think Anna Sandberg, as an attacking fullback, gave us help with that as well. Gave us more balance than Gabby George would have done as a more defensive player. And I think Turland all day long is the player that we need to wrap up and keep fit, because she leads the line brilliantly for us. There are times that she's led the line well without scoring, but her impact has still been the difference. But she's doing it and scoring so far this season. 3 against PSV, 1 against Hammarby, and then 1 yesterday. Mallard got the 3rd and 4th yesterday. And then when Jess Park came on, it was, we looked great anyway, and then she came on for the last half hour. And there was, at one stage, she picked the ball up deep and just drove forward with it, and it was like the highlight reels we've been watching all summer of Belabor, when we hoped he was coming to United. And she just picked it up and went.
Dynamic player, for sure.
Yeah. And that's the kind of play we've not really had. It's kind of what we expected from Grace Clinton, but didn't necessarily get that often. It was against Leicester, and Leicester aren't very good, but you still got to be done. You still got to pick up the ball and do those things with it.
Yeah.
And it was impressive. And it was, I think Jess Park plays in the positions that we've tried to shoehorn Grace Clinton into to accommodate her and Toon. And now we've swapped her for a player that comes in and plays those positions anyway, and plays them really well. She's an established player. When she came on, she's tiny, but she came on and she slotted straight in and made things happen. So I think that was
and young as well. I mean, she's 24.
Yeah,
so it's not like
she's not
feels like she has been around for a while. Yeah,
well, I think that's the difference. Her and Clinton have got similar appearance stats, but while Clinton's have been at Everton and at Bristol and at Spurs, Jess Parks have mostly been at City in the WSL, fighting for the top 3. So while they've got similar numbers, the experience, I think, is quite different. And that's something that I think should serve us for years to come, hopefully.
How are you feeling about the season ahead? It's again, it'll be a challenge to make the top 3 is the goal, right? Does 4th place go into the Europa Cup next season, or is it still this?
It's still top 3. The Europa Cup is those that fail in the qualifiers.
Yeah, okay.
So if we'd have, in Stockholm, if we'd have finished 4th in that mini group, we'd have been out altogether. 2nd or 3rd would have been in the Europa Cup, and then the winners, we went through to the next round. So if we win over 2 legs, we're in the Champions League. If we lose over 2 legs, we're in the Europa Cup. So we've definitely got a European campaign to come. Whether it be Champions League, which is a league phase, like the Men's Champions League, or the Europa Cup, which is 2-legged straight knockout. So the pressure's on if you're in the Europa Cup, you lose a tie and you're out. Whereas in the Champions League, you're guaranteed a certain number of games in that league phase. So I think for this season, with it being a league phase, if we get in the Champions League, we've got a good few games to get our heads around it and get stuck in and adapt and grow into European football. If we end up in the Europa Cup, the pressure's on with each tie, but the calibre of team we should be playing against should be more manageable as well. So whichever one we're in should hopefully get an exciting run. But obviously we want that Champions League spot. And as far as the league alongside it,
good few away games there, and because I mean it's just had those few games as Manchester United women in the 7 years, 8th season I think now it is. Yeah,
just those 2 against PSG, and then the 2 in Stockholm so far. So it's still a very young European team, but we're guaranteed European football this time. But alongside that, in the league, you still want to be challenged for that top 3, and earning the right to be in Europe again. And it's not just about qualifying for Europe, it's about being a team that players can look at that are consistently in Europe and will sign for, knowing that they're in a team that will challenge regularly. And I think that's the key. And I think our first 11 are good enough to challenge anybody in this league. It's the depth that is a little bit concerning, as I said, specifically up front. And then if we lose Jade Riviere, it's kind of shuffling players around to try and keep the same style of football. So the 11 we've got, I think, are spot on. We have got some good depth in some areas, but then in others that we are quite thin and quite fragile. So I think it has been said that the targets we failed to get this summer will be on the cards in January again, whether it's the same players or certainly the same positions. So if we get to January and we've not had an injury crisis, and then we've got a second chance of doing what we should have done this summer and boosting the squad to the level it needs to be, then hopefully, because we've not spent a lot this summer, we finished second in the World Sevens, and all the talk about
that was fun.
It was.
Yeah.
I wish I was out there. That looked a good crack in Portugal.
It looked really good there. Yeah.
But the money we got in from that, some of it had to go to the players as part of the terms of signing up. The rest, it was said, will boost the transfer kitty. Now we've not seen the benefit of that in the summer. So hopefully, come January, if the targets are still on the table, we can splash some of that cash and do what should have been done this summer.
Chelsea's title to lose. I mean, I guess that's the assumption now. Default assumption is that Chelsea are the favourites to win everything.
Yeah, and they've just brought in this Thompson from Angel City, which is another big signing. But Arsenal as Champions League winners, they'll be looking to turn that into some league form and step up from, the kind of the top end of our level, battling for Champions League spaces. They'll want to be in the bracket up and challenging Chelsea for the title. Olivia Smith could be a huge difference in that. She showed
brilliant goal at the weekend.
She showed then why she's cost $1 million, and she's still very young. I think she's only 20, so she's got a lot of years in her, and she's good enough already to be the first £1 million player in the WSL. So I think Arsenal will probably be looking at hoping for a title charge, but we've got to be making sure we stay above City, and then also trying to knock on that door of finish second before. We got lucky with some injuries then, but we have got the players that can do it. We just need to add that bit of depth in January.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, okay, it's going to be a really interesting campaign. Hopefully go through against Brann. That'll be a great experience for the fans and for the club as a whole, just to grow and show that the club is at that level, the team's at that level. It's probably pretty open in European, and not that anyone's expecting United to win the Champions League, but one step at a time. But that'll be a very open tournament. Barcelona having some financial problems that's affecting the whole club. They're losing players. I think they might not have paid everyone at one point. Anyway, so it just makes the whole tournament fairly open, I think. I mean, both Chelsea and Arsenal will be expecting to do really well in that one.
Yep.
Again.
So Arsenal still have to qualify. They're in this round as well.
Yeah.
So, they're likely to. You expect them to, but they've still got to go and win this two-legged tie and actually get through to that stage.
Yeah. Interesting decision not to have the winners automatically qualified there. It's a really exciting time in women's sport generally. I mean, coming off the back of the Euros, which was a great tournament. A lot of... I happened to be in England for the final at the time. Made it back, yep. I mean, I don't know, minor barometer of how popular this is now. It was 4 pubs until I could get in one. So didn't plan it very well, but there you go. Looking forward to this WSL season. A little bit difficult to get coverage without getting a dodgy stream, which is obviously illegal, and I definitely wouldn't do anything like that. But mates have told me you can do that. So, yeah, I will be following along, and hopefully we'll catch up with you during the season to check in on the temperature of how the team's doing. Andy, enjoy it. Thank you very much for coming on again.
Thank you. Hopefully, if we do this at the end of January, we'll be talking about a much stronger squad and a title running with any luck.
United dropping a couple of million on a couple of Barcelona players.
That'd be nice. We've already took one of them for free, but
why not?
Put the pressure on.
So, Jim, get your wallet out. Come on. All right, Andy, thank you very much. Everyone, thank you very much. Catch you next time.
With CarGurus Discover, you can skip the filters and describe what you're looking for in your own words. Simply type what you want, and CarGurus Discover instantly surfaces real listings that match your exact needs. It's no wonder CarGurus is the #1 most visited car shopping site according to SimilarWeb's estimated traffic data. Buy or sell your next car today with CarGurus at CarGurus.com. Go to CarGurus.com to make sure your big deal is the best deal. That's CarGurus.com. CarGurus.com.